Wilcox. Go ahead and let me know in the chat if you've got questions for him. Go ahead and get started with Jake Curtis from Cal Sports Report. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Justin, are you guessing that Delora will be the guy? And what's the difference in defending him versus Gorentano?
They're both talented guys and both have played. We're not necessarily guessing. We have, we got to be ready to face any and all. And they both have different styles of play, as you've probably noticed if you've watched them. And the offense, I'm sure, as I said before, there's probably things that they like a little bit more or less with each guy, just like any offense would. But both of them are talented and have unique skill sets. And so we'll have to play good football on defense, regardless of who their quarterback is, in order to have in order to win the game. We'll have to play really well regardless. So
can you just give me quickly the strengths of each guy?
Yeah, Jaden Delora, who we remember watching in high school quite a bit, he is kind of plays like a point guard. He's very active. He brings a lot of energy to the game. He makes plays throwing the football. He can make throws from the pocket, on the run, kind of from different arm angles. He's just kind of a playmaker. He reminds me of a point guard. You watch him play like that. And as I mentioned, a ton of energy, kind of bouncing all over the place and make plays with his feet, as I said. So he does a good job. And then Jarrett's kind of more of a, I guess, what you would call a classic. He's taller, throws the ball down the field, can run and will run, but just a little bit different styles. And both of them have played a lot of college football. Jaden's younger, obviously, and played last year. And Jarrett's, played a lot at Tennessee prior to Wazoo. So both of them are good quarterbacks.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, Justin, just following up, I think Trace's question from yesterday. Had 4 guys toward the end of the game in Seattle go out with injuries: Remigio, McKenzie, Damian Moore, and Tonjes. You said you might have an update on those guys. Any chance you do, or still to be determined?
So Damian, Nico, Tonjes probable, Stanley. We'll know a little more tonight, but probably behind those other guys right now.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers for Rivals.
I was going to ask about the injuries, I guess, but just in coming off a game in Seattle where, you had the heartbreaking result at the end, do you see any more determination to come back and figure things out this week? Or how do you see, how has practice been in that regard?
Practice has been good. I mean, I think I've said this, I don't know how many times, but the guys practice hard. They bring energy to practice. Everybody was, it was an emotional, tough loss. But there's no other alternative other than to drive on. And it's easier said than done, but we got some emotionally tough, resilient guys, and they've practiced very well this week. In terms of fixing or remedying that feeling, it's this much, and it's a play that we got to finish on defense and offense and special teams to give ourselves a better chance to win. And so we're not reinventing the entire program over an overtime loss. As much as it stings and it hurts, we have to do what we do a little bit better. And that's what we're focusing on doing. And their energy and focus at practice has been really good this week.
And something I noticed during the Washington game, you guys kind of shortened up your rotation on defense. I think you only played something like 17 players. Do you expect to go back to playing somewhere around the 22 to 25 guys that you have?
Some of that, Trace, depends on the pace of the game, how the game is moving, how many plays we're playing. Defensively, I think we were in the high 60s, low 70s, which is a more traditional number. Once you get into the 80, 85, 90, you're going to have to see some more players, because even though it doesn't seem like a lot, those 15 to 20 plays, that's a big difference over the course of one game. And so we've had a couple of those games where we've been in the mid 80s, and we've played more players because of that. But some of that's just, the dynamics of the game, and we'll make those decisions as we go.
And on another note, you guys are averaging, I think, nearly double the penalty yards per game than you did even in the shortened season last year. Is there any common thread through that, or guys just making more mistakes, or where do you start on that?
Well, we've had a number of pass interference penalties. Those are 15-yard varieties. We've had a couple, just this past week, we had a face mask, 15. I think we had a pulling a guy off of piles of 15. So those rack up very quickly. So it's a combination of decision making, a lot of it's, technique, and the difference between getting a pass interference and not getting a pass interference is about this much. And so we've got to play a little bit cleaner. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to David Bush from Bear Insider.
Yeah, Coach, the secondary took a lot of heat after the Sac State game for the amount of passing yards they gave up. You pointed out, obviously, that a lot of things goes into it. But how did they do, and especially in the second half against Washington, when you really did a nice job of containing their passing attack? Is the secondary really improving? Has it gotten better?
It was much improved in the second half last week. Now we got to sustain it. You can't just do it for a half of a game or one game. I mean, that's the challenge of, playing college football. It's each and every down, and as many times as you can get it right. And that's how you have success. And there was some really good examples of that, especially in the second half, getting close in our coverage, competing for the ball, making plays on the ball, affecting the quarterback with either a 4-man rush or a pressure, a 5-man rush. And so there was a number of times that I thought we did a much better job there, but we got to, do that with consistency. And that's, like I said, I think yesterday is, if they're going to throw 40 passes, and even if you play 30 of them, great. If you give up 10 explosives, it's not going to look good, so it's the consistency and our performance. And that's what we're looking for. But it was great to see them step up and play confident and utilize the techniques and get off the field a number of times in the second half.
Thank you.
Can we go back to Trace Travers?
Yeah, Coach, DeCarlos Brooks missed the game against Washington. What's his status moving forward?
I would say, this weekend's doubtful, and then we'll hope to, we'll see, but hopefully, moving forward, get him back in there. And he did some good things early on, so we'd like to get DeCarlos back.
And you guys have been putting Brian Driscoll in at both left guard and right guard throughout the early portion of the season. What's he brought to both those positions?
Toughness. He plays very, very hard. He's tough, and he is a strong guy, and gave us some really good reps in there. We want to keep that going. Right now there's not a ton of guys rotating through on offensive line, as you've noticed, but he's a guy that's gave us some really good reps in there, and it helps everybody.
Could you foresee a seventh guy like Braden Rome maybe?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Again, all those reps are earned. You don't just get them because you're next on the depth chart. And Braden's done a great job of continuing to work. He missed some time with an injury this offseason, which was unfortunate, set him back just a bit. But he's coming back off of that, and he works very, very hard. And it's important to him, and he's a competitor. So we'll see where that goes.
Thank you.
Anybody with a final question? Give you a couple seconds if you do. Okay, I think we're good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.